Good evening and welcome to Thursday Night Bible Study. I'll be your facilitator for the night. My name is JD Longoria and we'll introduce my panel tonight.
My name is Samantha.
Joanna.
I'd like to thank you all for joining us. And the theme for this month is progress report. We're going to continue that theme. We've had good teachings the last few Thursday nights, and the preaching on Sunday has been very on point, talking about progress. So our scripture is Mark 28. For the earth bringeth forth fruit of herself, first the blade, then the ear, and after that the full corn of the ear. What I want to talk about is in the scriptures, God says, so we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, and for what is unseen is eternal. So simply put, it's seen equals temporary, unseen equals eternal. Sometimes you find yourself in situations and you think to yourself, where is this leading? Where am I headed? Am I making progress? Are we making progress? We take comfort in the fact that he sees us, but he knows exactly who we are. We've been on that talk about making progress, and sometimes when you get the progress report, it's not what you think where you should be. And sometimes that's why it's needed, especially when you're walking with God. So I wonder what it would be like if we got progress report from God. I admit to myself, sometimes when I think about that, I get a little nervous because I have to self-check myself, and it's like, ooh, this isn't where I should be or what I could have done to get better. So you get nervous. Sometimes you get fearful, especially in your Christian walk. So sometimes it can be a total mess, but sometimes in God's view, it's not as messy as we think.
Right.
So I know we encourage people to, walk more closely with Jesus and to get that walk, but sometimes we might have a difficult time getting there. So I'm going to ask my panel tonight these questions, and the first question is, how do we measure our progress on our spiritual journey? For me, I believe our passion for spiritual growth should be greater than our drive to meet goals in the world. Sometimes we look at things from the world and put that priority in our lives, and God should always be first. So who wants to go?
I'll go ahead and go next. Okay. I'll go ahead and just, revert back to where you were saying self-reflecting. That's pretty much where we're at right now when it comes down to that question, because I always have to self-reflect. I always want to make sure that I'm doing better, because we're not perfect. You know what I mean? There's going to be times that we're struggling and we're going through hard times, but sometimes we are going through similar situations. They're always so different, but we always want to reflect back at where was I at before? How did I react to that before? Did I run to prayer? Did I just fall apart? What was it? And I always do that, because if I don't self-reflect, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know if I made any better changes. I don't know if I'm, stagnant. That's just kind of where, when it comes down to the self-reflecting, it's very, very powerful, because if you cannot self-reflect, that means that there's no change, or you're not willing to make a change, or there's how can I say, there's no opportunity for you to make a change in life,
I like that word, self-reflect. I feel like it's at times a really hard thing to do, because that means taking accountability. And for me, I think I would check my progress by checking my fruits, checking my joy, my love, my peace, my patience, self-control, all of that. Before coming to Christ, we are selfish and bitter people. And when he comes into our life, he kind of frees us from that. Not to say that we're completely free from it. We have to work at it every day, but I think that's a really good way to check our progress. Right?
Yeah, I think one of the good things is, if you dig into the scriptures and you read, the Bible for yourself, you see the flaws of many, women and men of God called throughout the Bible. And, you see their own spiritual journey and their progress. I mean, we've talked about David, in the past, preachers or the pastors preached about that. And, his progress was, he was a shepherd first, and then he ends up being a king. But, he had, to get there. It wasn't just, hey, I'm the shepherd, I was anointed king, and I'm there the next day. It took a progress, and he got progress reports during his walk, Prophet Samuel and the other prophets came to him and said, hey, you're not doing this right, and you need to do this. And sometimes, we get off track a little bit, and we think that, hey, we're doing good. And then you get that progress report, and you're like, well, okay, let's start over a little bit,
Right.
or let's focus on this one area, like you're saying, the fruits of the Spirit. You can find those in Galatians, and you need to remind yourself of those. That's the strive that you want to take in your Christian walk. Is you talk about love, joy, peace, and then the other ones you got to keep focusing on those. Well, it's the fruits of the Spirit. You can't have one and not the others. You got to focus on all of them.
Right.
So our next question I have from our panel is, what steps can we take for growth? Just a few that I believe helps with your growth is, you be obedient, give thanks, being passionate about your walk with God and different areas. Who wants to go on this one?
I can go. For me, whenever I read that question, it was this verse came to mind. It was John 3:30. So the version I have is NLT. He must become greater and greater, and I must become less and less. It's just, to me, I always see it as like, if I'm focusing on me, I'm already doing wrong. You know what I mean? It's not about me. It's not about my flesh. It's about God. It's about my walk. It's about just the progress in me and how I'm maturing. For example, just me being here next to you guys, it's a testimony. This is progress for me, so I can use this in my progress report, that I'm sitting here and I'm doing this Bible study with you guys. I can tell you, and I never expected it, and I'm very blessed to be here. So that verse is very powerful. It means that I'm not thinking about me. I'm only thinking that I want to get the word out. I want people to know how God is so good.
I like how you mentioned, saying yes to God and checking our progress report. I think steps that we can take with our growth in God is definitely saying yes to Him, and not thinking of ourselves, putting ourselves last and putting Him first. But definitely along with that comes with prayer.
Yes.
You definitely have to pray and ask God to help you grow in Him, and to open doors for you and close doors that don't need to be open, so that way you know which way you're going. But also, I think that you have to humble yourself and drop your pride, because a lot of the times when you come to Christ, you don't want to take that accountability of how you were living and things you were doing before that.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys touched on it. I also think, also being confident in yourself will help that. Sometimes, you put, it's, of course, we want to be humble and stuff, but you also have to be confident that you're going to reach that goal. I'm not saying to go, like you're saying, with humility out there boasting it and all that stuff, but just be confident in yourself, because sometimes that's one of the things that the devil will attack you with is, oh, well, you're not good enough. Oh, how are you going to get to this point like them? It's not, I don't need to, have my walk with God exactly like yours. Right. It's my walk with God, and it might take me different steps than it took you. And sometimes we put ourselves, we want to, in the world, you measure yourself like in your jobs. Oh, I'm a teacher. Well, I want to be like that teacher. And what steps do they take? And sometimes you just got to look at yourself and say, I don't need to do what they did to get there. I need to find out how I can get there on my own. And sometimes when our walk with God is, we sometimes judge ourselves. Oh, well, how come they have this? How come they have that? I'm doing this. I'm praying. It's God answers everybody's call differently. And that's such a great example throughout the Bible. I mean, everybody got to where they needed to with God different, and it would be a boring book in the Bible if everybody did the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I think what's great about God is he treats us all unique, and we're all our own. When we are going to get judged someday, it's not going to be judged on the same things.
Right.
So my third question is, what should the quality of our relationship with God be like? Who would you want to start this one?
I think the quality of our relationship with God should be fellowship, love, and trust between you and Him. I think a quality relationship is kind of give and take. A lot of people come to Christ and think, well, He's going to bless me with this, and He's going to do this for me and this for me, but I don't have to do anything in return. But it's not like that.
Right.
When God asks something of you, you have to say yes, because He is willing to bless you, and we're undeserving of that, but we have to prove to Him that we deserve His blessings. And I think that we have plenty of work to do for him.
Right. I agree. And it's amazing how God's just working in this, the Bible study. Because I also had similar question, the answer to that question. It's making sure that, well, it's not about just asking God all the time. It's not about, God, I need this. God, I need that. It's about the serving. It's about going out there, like the Saturdays when we go out there and we give out these burritos, or just, a prayer. We have a sign up that says, hey, we're here, we're giving free burritos. And then we have another sign that says, hey, if you need prayer, we're here just for prayer. It's serving God. It's not about all the needs that we have. Again, it comes down to, it's not about our flesh. It's about God. We have to focus on that.
And I think Pastor preaches on that a lot too, that a lot of Christians come in and they're like, oh, God, give me this house. Give me this house. I've been praying. I'll do whatever you want. They get the house, and then they're gone.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I'm glad you both hit on that, because that's what I was looking for in this question. A quality relationship, any relationship, marriage or dating, it's always, give and take. It's not, if you're a selfish person just worrying about you, that relationship's not going to last.
Right.
And if you're out there looking for a relationship, you got to understand it's give and take, and that's the same thing with God. It's give and take. The not so secret, to being with God is that, you just don't ask from him all the time. You got to also return him in praise, enjoy his presence, and serve him. That's one of the things about a relationship is that, it's got to be equal. Whatever you're putting out, you also need to understand to get that in return. And I think even if he did save us all from hell, we could never give more than what God
You
gives
read my
us.
mind. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking right now.
It's sometimes relationships you want to go, oh, well, I did this, well, you need to do that, and that's not how it is. So I just want everybody to focus and understand that when you get those progress reports, that don't look at it as in a bad way, that it's something good. Understanding and getting feedback is good for you. It's to help you on your journey and get yourself closer to God. Sometimes we want to look at the bad things of everything. That's why I hate reading or watching the news or reading anything online. It's always the negative. People don't post the good stuff all the time. It's like, hey, did you hear this? Or it's just society is going backwards, and what we should be doing is talking about the positive things in life and the positive things God is doing for you. Just like you were talking about, with the burritos we give, you think a burrito isn't much, but, the people that came in the Sunday I was here, or the Saturday morning I was here, they were, they weren't even members of the congregation. They were talking to each other like, oh, do you go to this church? No, do you? And, well, this is a great outreach, and it's just a simple thing of giving a burrito, and you're thinking, a burrito? That's just a,
free burrito?
Yeah, free
like
burrito, and
that's
it's
the
coming
reaction
in.
I would get. It's like, okay, so do I have to sit down and hear a story? And I'm like, no. I said, but if you want to hear one, here's a good story. And, that's how you build a conversation. But it's just fellowshipping and loving on people and just letting them know there's more to a church. And that's fellowshipping, that's loving one another, that's being there for everyone who's in need. And it's not the focus on everything else, out in the world.
Yeah, and I think that's a great progress, just for our church in general. People are just getting, a touch of God just from getting a free burrito. Something so simple. So don't complicate things. Make your walk with God, simple for you, and remember that relationship is give and take. So now we're going to go to the announcements. We're going to talk about the first tithes and offering. So if you're going to give, it's text to give. It should be on the screen. I don't know the number. I've been doing this panel for quite a while, but I do not memorize that number for some reason, but it's on the screen for you. We have a few announcements. I want you to make sure that you join us on Sundays. Of course, it's available online with Facebook and YouTube. But if you are able to come and enjoy the presence of God here with us. Also join us on Saturday mornings. I know this Saturday coming up, we'll be there from 10 to 1. From what my knowledge is, there are going to be breakfast burritos, and then there's going to be a lunch burrito. So, that's what the announcements were. So come and join us. Also, the youth Valentine grams can be pre-ordered. Do you want to say anything on that? Or?
Yes, so we're doing pre-orders now. We will be delivering them February 11th, which is on a Saturday, and money is not due until February 8th. So please reach out to us.
Yeah, so get your Valentine